All right, so chat.
Why was DNF Duel not successful? The real reason behind DNF Duel, rapid decline in players. Let me see if I can name a few things. So, number one, for me, was there were a few issues in the game that were preventing me from actually like playing matches. Like, one, I was able to play people in England. I had my thing open completely to everyone, right? So like any matchmaking from anywhere in the world, I had it open to everyone. I was able to play people from England the day before the game came out. I had a copy of the game, and they opened up the servers. So the only people that were online were like streamers and stuff like that. I guess you can count me as a streamer, but I didn't get it from Arc System Works or anything like that. So I was playing the game the day before, went online. I did play against Maximilian Dude once. I played against another guy who was from the UK. I don't know if it was from specifically England. I played against this guy from the UK, and I found out he was from the UK because I went to his Twitch after I played him, because his Twitch name was his name on the game. So I was like, I usually like to check people out, because a lot of people say, oh, why do you put your TTV in your name? Because nobody ever gets famous like that. Why do you do that? And it's like, because somebody might stop by. You never know. Like, why is that hurt another streamer's feelings? Anyway, so I go to his stream, and I check him out, and I'm like, oh yeah, what's up? I'm the other Ghostblade player. I think I was playing Ghostblade at the time, and I think it was a Ghostblade mirror. I'm pretty sure he beat me, but it definitely was a close match. I think maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe he whooped my ass. I don't remember. But I went on his stream, and he was like, oh yeah, and I heard that he had an accent or whatever, and I forget how I found out or got him to say that he was from the UK. I don't remember if I like asked him what time it was or where you from. I don't think I'm not usually the person to ask like where you're from. But like I was like, I'm from the United States. I know I said I was from the US. And I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I'm from the US. He was like, oh, I couldn't tell. He was like, it was a solid connection. Like we didn't have any lag, or there was no like, it didn't seem like the game was any, slower or anything like that, or glitchy or anything. It was a solid connection. And we were playing, he was from the UK. And I was like, that's crazy. That's some good net code. So after that, I tried to play a friend of mine from the same city as me. Now, one of my friends, we always have issues playing games online because, I don't know, our internet providers don't like each other, I guess. I have Verizon, he has Comcast, but for whatever reason, I can never play games online with him specifically. Austin, I just can't play games online. We always lag really, really bad. But in Guilty Gear, at least we can connect to each other, right? So we can connect. Sometimes the match will be okay. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes he said he had to reset his router and it would be okay for a little while and then it would stop. Don't know what the issue there is. But then in DNF, we can't connect to each other at all. Like, at all. So then another person who I used to play Guilty Gear online with for a little bit was Dave, right? Dave, I played Guilty Gear online with him a lot on PlayStation. And he played Potemkin and I was playing Axel. So we played a lot of matches together. We tried to play DNF Duel and we just could not connect to each other. So he would open a room and I could not join his room. It wouldn't let me. I would open a room, it wouldn't let him join my room. Had no idea why. We tried it a bunch of times and we could not get into each other's rooms. It didn't make any sense. So we couldn't play each other. So that was like, the two main people that I was going to be playing in DNF Duel online, I couldn't play them. Like Austin would come over my house sometimes and play or whatever. But I couldn't play my friends online like we planned, right? Then what was it after? Then playing ranked. Sometimes I would queue up for a match, and I would be waiting for 5+ minutes for a match. Not all the time, but on PlayStation it seemed to happen more often and longer. And because I started playing on PlayStation, I think I got to gold on PlayStation before I switched to PC because I was like, I'm tired of waiting so long for matches. Switched to PC, started playing on PC, and it was fine. Like PC, I was getting matches. And then eventually I stopped getting matches. Like I stopped getting matches. It started to act like PlayStation again. It was just like I would just be waiting 5+ minutes. And at the top of the screen, you would see that this thing. In fact, I can just show you because I put it on my my page. I posted it. This was right before I started posting. Here it is. This was a 4-minute long video of me trying to get into a match. So I'm gold 1 here. Up here it says looking for opponent or whatever. And it just sits here for 4 minutes. I'm gold 1. I'm not even that high ranked. So you think what matchmaking normally does is it tries to match you with people that are at your rank first, and then it starts to spread out where it's like, okay, there's nobody here in gold. There's nobody here in gold or like silver 4 or whatever. So you spread out and it looks for, people above and below. And then it spreads out and it's like, okay, maybe look for bronze and somebody high. Match has been canceled, looking for opponent. And it would just keep doing this. We're at 3 minutes. And it does this for 4 minutes until I finally get a match. 4 minutes. 4 minutes it took me to get a match. I didn't want to sit there doing that all the time. Like, that's too long. If every time I queue up for a match, I gotta wait 4 minutes for a match, I don't want to do that. I mean, not unless I'm like high ranked. High ranked is a different story. Like you kind of that happens in all games. If you're really high ranked, you wait longer for matches because there's not a lot of people around your rank. But I'm only gold 1. There has to be gold 1 players or silver players, right? There has to be a lot of silver players. There couldn't, and even if it wasn't, there's a lot of players during the first, the first hours and the first like couple of weeks that the game is live, So like I didn't think that there were like not people playing. It's just some weird thing going on with the matchmaking system. And it made me not really want to like play a whole lot. Because it's like, yeah, I have 518 matches played, 208 wins. So I had a 40% win rate here, but that went up. That went up to what, probably like 55 or 60% win rate at some point. I don't remember if this was PlayStation. Yeah, this is PlayStation. So I think this is where I started learning the game. I started on PlayStation. So I was taking a lot of L's when I first started the game, especially the day before the game came out. Everybody, which is good. So I was losing a lot of matches the day before the game came out. But on PC, I had a much higher win percentage. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, like not that those were a couple of reasons. Other reasons, their marketing sucked. Their marketing sucked for the game. They didn't talk about anything that was coming for the game. They didn't talk about like characters that would be added to the game. Now, as much as I hate them announcing characters, right? As much as I hate them announcing the actual characters that are going to be coming, because then it's like, oh, I want to try that character. Character's not going to be out for another 8 months. Nobody wants to deal with that. It's like, oh, I really like that character, but I gotta wait damn near a year, or sometimes in a year to play. Just like Akira. When they announced Akira, I was like, well, shit, I gotta wait a whole year to play this character. I didn't even care about her that much, but I wanted to like play the character. I was like, that's cool. She's from rival school. She's like a guest character in Street Fighter, another guest character in Street Fighter. I was like, I want to try to play that character. I turned out that I liked that character, and that was the best character that I ever played for me in Street Fighter 5. But I had to wait an entire year to play that character. Ridiculous. So like they don't have to announce the actual characters that are coming out. All they got to do is put the silhouettes there. If the people figure it out, they figure it out. But that gives something for people to talk about. They're like, oh, this silhouette looks like this character, or this silhouette looks like this other character. Maybe it's such and such. I've been looking through all of the artwork, and I think it might be, you know, like people that want to do the digging will do the digging. And if they come up with matches, people will make content about it. People will make videos and stuff about it. People will blow your game up just off of that. And then once your characters start coming out, it's like, oh, new character is coming out in, you know, next month, 2 months from now, or a month and a half from now is when we start releasing the characters. Y'all release a new character every other month or something like that. And then people stay engaged with the game. Like, I don't know what the balance situation, like, I don't know. People cared a lot about the balance. I really didn't care that much. Like, I hadn't gotten to a point, I guess, where I cared that much. Like, if I got my ass whooped by somebody who who instant overheaded me and it was sick looking, I'm like, damn, yo, I didn't know you could do that. Like, it was exciting. It was exciting to get my ass whooped by some of these people sometimes. And like playing the game and playing the characters and being able to do all this crazy flashy stuff was really fun. And I would continue to play the game if I knew I could still play the game. I don't know. There's just a bunch of things. But let's actually watch the video. I came here.
I told you guys I wanted to get on here and I wanted to talk about DNF Duel, man, because I've been seeing a lot of comments when I play the game and stuff are talking about, like, you know, how dead the game is, or bringing up the Steam charts and not really that many people playing the game. And some people, you know, just some of it a little bit troll. Some people are just like actually empathetic about the game situation and stuff like that. But I just really want to talk about what led to the downfall of DNF Duel. Now, if you know, there's the huge patch coming out soon that's going to have the balance update along with Spectre. And of course, I think there's been hints that people have been talking about. And that's even late. Like, that's even late. It's supposed to be coming out the 23rd, I think, which is next Friday. Like, they should have just announced that shit and just dropped it. For real, for real. Like, should have announced it and then just dropped it the next day. Or they should have announced it and been like, available now. People would have immediately hopped back on the game. Immediately. But they always like to let the hype die down. It's like they announce it, they're like, oh, we got this new character coming out, big huge patch coming out for the game. Cool. Coming out in 3 weeks. And it's like, all right, sure. And then within that 2 to 3 weeks time span, people are playing other games, people are playing deep in other fighting games. Some other game comes out with an update, other stuff happens, event happens, people go do other stuff. DNF Duel stops being a thought in people's head, and then except for the people that are still playing it. But all the people that were like ready to come back and ready to play and try out the new character, all those people are like not thinking about the game anymore, or they're like, my hype kind of died down about it. You know, it's whatever. You know, when it comes out, I'll give it a shot and see what's up. Like, you announce it and then drop it the next day, people will be on it the next day. But for some reason, they like letting the hype die. It's like, let's get everybody hyped up and then let it die and then release it. And then it's not taken as well. Or they release it, it comes out, nobody says anything, nothing is heard, and they're like, oh, well, how come the numbers didn't really jump that much? They jumped a little bit, they spiked, you know, and then they went down the next day. Why did that happen? What happened to the staying power? We gave them a new character. They should be happy with the new character, right? hopefully the new character is a free character, because like if we gotta buy the character, people gonna be like, well, do I really want to spend money on the game? I wasn't playing the game, and we just found out about this character. It's not like I was planning on playing this character. I mean, or playing the game again when this character dropped. We didn't know this character was coming. So it's like, some people will buy the character. I'll probably buy the character. But like, for real, like, some people just not gonna want to spend the money. Especially depending on how much the character is. I don't remember if they said it or not, but I hope the character is free. I hope the character is free, because we already know the patch is going to be free, patch update or whatever. But the update should include the character. And then they have DLC with more characters. The character like $10, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
Of other characters also coming in the game based on the actual poll.
Oh, there were Easter eggs
from the Twitter accounts, which you'll get into the Twitter accounts in just a minute. But talking about what led to the early downfall of DNF Duel, I think there's a couple of things here. But yeah, the game's been talked about positively lately because of the actual stuff that's coming soon, and hopefully this can help the game maintain more people playing it. You know, just maintain a consistent player base is something that the game actually needs right now.
Bro, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for DNF Duel, unless they start churning out news and information. It's not looking good. I don't know what they're so afraid of, but they need to start putting out information. The game should have been a free-to-play game for real. Like, it should have been a free-to-play game, but they didn't want to do that. And I remember somebody telling me on Twitter that I think it was about Project L though. They told me that I sounded like I was greedy for expecting Project L to be a free-to-play game, right? Like I was a greedy person and I should want to pay for the game or some shit like that. I don't have a problem spending money in the game. I don't have a problem spending my money in the free-to-play game as long as the game is being taken care of, being supported. It has players. It keeps me wanting to come back to it. And I know that it's going to be there if I take a break. Because anytime I take a break, whatever the long extension, it doesn't matter what it is. If I take a 6-month long break on a fighting game, I should be able to take a 6-month long break without feeling like, damn, man, I'm just another person that's adding to the reason why no one is playing the game, because I'm not playing it because I don't really want to play it right now, and it's not really like something I want to do right now. A bunch of other people are thinking the same thing. They're not playing it. Now it's only 97 people online within 24 hours playing DNF Duel on Steam. The game not crossplay. They didn't talk about crossplay for the game. They should have had crossplay for the game. It wasn't free to play. They could have at least had crossplay. The only thing that's crossplay is between PS4 and PS5, and that's not real crossplay. That's not real. They're still on the PlayStation Network. Like when people call PS4 to PS5 crossplay, I'm like, get that out of my face. I hate when people say that.
The game definitely needs some sort of consistency as far as its player base, rather than the dwindling numbers that we constantly see so far. So hopefully with the balance update, it shakes the meta of what characters people see on the screen a little bit more, even though, you know, when you look at these top 8, they're pretty diverse. But of course, people just want to see more things, probably see, you know, probably some characters that get a little bit more or less under represented, like probably like some launchers or like some grapplers in top 8. You see grappler.
Bruh, you really want grapplers in top 8? He already scary. If you make him good enough to get in top 8, y'all ain't gonna have a good time. Y'all gonna be crying for nerfs. yo, man, it's too ridiculous. I can't get him off me. He too sticky. I don't know what to do. He just, as soon as he get in my face, I can't get him off me. He just do so much damage. That's what it's going to be. Nobody want to see grapplers. Nobody like fighting that character. If you're doing shit right with your character, people not going to like your character. But if the easier your character makes it, they're not gonna like your character. Launcher, I don't like fighting her. It could be a matchup situation or matchup thing. I play Kunoichi. I don't know if the matchup is not that good for her or whatever. But like, I don't feel like any matchup is really impossible. Like, I don't think any matchup is really impossible, at least with the character I play. So, I don't know. Like, if you're doing something right with your character, people not gonna like your character. There's not that many characters in this game. It's not that many characters. I come from Marvel. I think Street Fighter V at this point has way more characters than this game. I think, pretty sure. So like, you're bound to run
like
into
Lost
some
Warrior,
shit you
even though
don't
we
like.
just saw Lost Warrior, but
Don't nobody want to see this character either. Why do you want to see? The only people that want to see these characters are the people that play these characters. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. Like, I think everybody's getting buffed, but like, be honest with yourself. Do you really want them to make Lost Warrior better based on what he can do now? Do you really want them to make Grappler better based on what he can do right now? Do you really want Launcher to be better based on what she can do right now? Do you want to give her more? Do you want to deal with that? Like, unless you want to play the character, I don't think you don't want to deal with that. Like, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I'd rather deal with in DNF Duel, and every one of them is not Lost Warrior, Launcher, Grappler. I think I'd rather deal with every other even Crusade. I'd rather deal with Crusader than any of those three characters.
No, you really don't see that character too much. And a few other characters that you probably don't see that much. You know, people want to see a shake-up in like sort of like the meta of like the characters you see majority of the time on the screen when it comes to these tournaments. So we're going to talk about the early downfall of DNF. We got to start at the very beginning. When this game first released, there was no real announcements for the future of this game. You know, there was no DLC announcements for this.
Fun, bro. Oh, she does need to be buffed. She needs to be better. I've seen a sick Enchantress. I've watched this sick Enchantress. She definitely needs some help. I want her to be better because I was gonna try to play her. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure there are people who don't maybe have seen what she can do or seen what she's capable of, and like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. Because that was my thing. It's like, I feel like Enchantress has like hidden potential where she's really hard to play, and people not gonna want to deal with what she's capable of. So once people really start to learn how to play her, people not gonna want to deal with that. And I was like, maybe I should learn her, because if I learn her, then I could be one of the people who's making people deal with all the nonsense. And then she gets buffed and she gets a little easier to play, or she gets a little more tools or help or whatever. Then it will be better for me. I was gonna try to play her. Right now, I play Kunoichi, which is not even a character that I thought that I was going to be playing. Dragon Knight was the character that I started in the beta 1, and then when the next beta came out with Ghostblade in it, I started playing Ghostblade, which I regret. I really like Ghostblade. I have a picture of Ghostblade on my wall, but I ended up not liking Ghostblade because he has no DP, he has no defensive options. I don't like that. He does damage. He can still win. He's still a viable character, but he's the only character in the game that doesn't have any defensive options at all. Like, no, everyone else has a defensive option. They either have a DP, some type of like armor, or a counter. He has none of that. So I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with it for long term. I found it too easy to push him in a corner and do mean things to him.
when I was playing him, I would mirror match him and I would just push him in the corner and do mean things to him. So then I started playing Kunoichi, and I thought she was really cool, and I didn't think I would be able to like play her, but like I started playing her and she seemed to be really fun, and I started learning her combos, and I was like, oh, I can play her. But she has some crazy shit that I don't know how to do yet. I still have a ways to go with her, so I don't think I want to drop her. But I really like Kunoichi. I probably will be sticking with Kunoichi, but I definitely will be trying Spectre when she comes out. Spectre looks cool. All the characters look really cool, to be honest.
Game, and unfortunately, in this sort of environment that we are in the FGC, we are sort of expected. We expect to see some sort of announcements for the future of the game, some sort.
And this too. So the only reason why, as a fighting game community, we expect to see announcements for a game to let us know that they're supporting the game is the company's fault. Because once they started doing it, I don't remember who did it first, but whoever started doing it first, and then all the other companies followed suit, and they started announcing the characters like, oh, this character is going to be coming out this time. We're having this amount of characters and, coming, which is fine. I just prefer you not tell me who it is, but that we are getting characters with like a silhouette or something like that, right? Like some type of soft confirmation that you have a character in mind, not that you're going to get a character. We're going to get like 6 characters. We get no silhouette, no type of thing to think about or ponder on or whatever, but we need something like just like we're getting 6 characters this year and all the silhouettes of the characters just to have something there to think about, to let us know that these characters are coming. It's a soft confirmation. These characters are coming, and we can stay interested in the game and invest our time in the game. Because when you put out a game, when DNF came out and there was no announcements for the game, they put out one balance patch that like slapped a band-aid on Swiftmaster. I really don't care about what Swiftmaster can do. I really don't. Like, people were heavily complaining about Swiftmaster. Yes, Swiftmaster is very strong, but all the characters are very strong. It takes a fair amount of execution to do all the stuff that he can do and decision making to do the stuff that he can do, but people will pass it off as, oh, he's just mashing, he's just doing whatever, he can do whatever he wants. Yeah, but the person piloting the fucking character has to fucking know all of his routes for his combos and know how to pick people up and be charging his wind buster the whole time. And I'm not saying that to say that like charging wind buster is hard, but like there's like you don't, there's no assists in the game, so it's not like he's zero where he has lightning. Like he does have something similar to his lightning or whatever, but you don't have like an assist to help you hold people down and all that kind of stuff. You have to do that all with your one character. That's not like excusing the fact that he's strong, but like pick the character up and really try to do everything that a top level Swiftmaster does. But then at the same time, if Swiftmaster was so strong, why did a Vanguard win the last 2 majors that I went to? The same guy, Furious Pillow, won with Vanguard when Swiftmaster is such a problem. And then you got who else? Striker, she's another problem. She's scary though. She's probably more scary to me than Swiftmaster is, to be honest. But like the stuff that she's capable of, you have to be really good with the character to even do that and unlock that stuff and use it to your advantage. It's not like she has some like easy 1-2-3 combo that goes into a guard break, right? You have to know the sequence. You have to know all the situation. Like, you have to have the situational awareness to do all the crazy shit that these characters are capable of.
there's characters that are probably capable of so much more than we've seen, and then they'll now be capable of even more after this patch, and people are just going to be complaining because they're going to be getting hit with so much bullshit. But in Marvel 3, people were getting hit with bullshit left and right, and that was the main game that everybody was playing. Getting hit with bullshit left and right.
Sort of like at least a roadmap or some DLC, some battle pass, or something that we can buy, some season pass that we can buy in advance to know that there is a future for this game. And that's just something that just wasn't there. There was very little word from the developers when it came to stuff like that. You know, there was a lack of that sort of communication between the supporters and the developers when it came to exactly what was going on. Of course, there's some other contributors there as well. Of course, this IP being not the biggest here, I feel like, in the States for sure, and probably not that big outside of like Korea, because it's definitely a Korean MMO game, very popular over there. Now there's some people that actually know and play this game. And
yeah, but if this game is so big overseas and the game released globally, why is no one over there even playing the game? Let me tell you why. Because it came from a game that was free to play, and the game cost $40. People have been playing this game for probably 20 years. Why would they stop playing this game that's free to play to pay $40 for a game that they're probably not even going to be good at, and they're just like, whatever, I'm gonna keep playing my high level character with all the moves, with more moves and more freedom of movement, and it's just something that's more fun for them to do, a game that they've been playing for 20 years. I guarantee if the game was free to play, that a lot of these people who are playing this game would have at least downloaded it and gave it a try. They would have downloaded the game, gave it a try. A lot of people probably would have liked the game, and it would have had a player base for people to, like, for a bunch of people, for people to play. Like, there would have been a way bigger player base if the game was free to play. Free to play, release characters like every other month, costumes, colors on a battle pass or something like that. I don't know. They could have done stuff. They could have put a battle pass together. They could have had like challenges for you to finish to unlock items, or unlock things for your character, or unlock customization thing. They could have done so much. But right now we got a full balance patch. Everybody's getting buffed, and we've got one character with possibly more characters on the way. So hopefully they could do right by this game and bring the game back. Bring the game back from the dead. I don't know why these companies wait for their game to scrape the bottom of the barrel before they try to pull it back up. Like, why not just start strong and continue to be strong? Like, y'all wait all of this time, and then like, oh damn, nobody's playing the game like that no more. Quick, give them $4,000 for that tournament in the US that they play in the Bronx. Give them $4,000 so that people can enter that tournament for free. Because maybe that will keep people interested. That ain't the casual players. That ain't the casual players. The casual players don't know nothing about Yipes' tournaments. The casual players don't know anything about tournaments. The casual players are just like, I played the game. It's cool. Are there any new characters coming out? Oh, no new characters? Oh, is there anything to unlock? Oh, one character? I don't even like that character. I'm just not going to unlock that character.
Heard about it and stuff like that. But this is not really a big IP over here. So, you know, they probably weren't expecting too much from this side, but that also led to another big downfall, which we're going to talk about, which was the marketing for this game. The marketing for DNF Duel left a lot to be desired for because of how they actually did it. So if you don't know, they have their Twitter account and then they had their YouTube. So we gotta announce.
So they had a Twitter account, and they just recently, I don't know, maybe within the last month or two, made an English version of the Twitter account. I was following the I think it was the Korean version, right? The original version of the account for the game, and it was in Korean. Like, but I just had to hit translate so that I can see what they were talking about. But like, they just recently made an English. If you're making the game for the States, or you're making the game and you're going to release the game in these different places, why not have accounts for those places? You could have them set up already, but instead, y'all didn't do that, because most people are not going to follow the Korean account. Casual players are not going to like, they're probably not even going to follow the game's account anyway. But then you really cut them off when it's like, okay, it's only Korean. It's only in Korean. A lot of people are just not going to follow the account because they're like, oh, I don't read Korean. Oh, you can hit a translate button? I didn't know that. They're just not going to they're just not going to click the follow button. Oh, it's in Korean. Is there an English version of their English Twitter account? Oh, no. Oh, well, they should have an English Twitter account. I'll follow the English Twitter account. I'm telling you, that's what goes through people's heads.
Announcement for the game just randomly, and we didn't hear anything about it for a year, and then a year later they resurged with another trailer saying, hey, this game basically still being worked on, showcasing, you know, the characters once again. We got the beta and stuff like that, but when you notice things on the Twitter, a lot of it was basically Korean, and then we were like almost like a second-class citizen when it came to the knowledge about the game. We weren't really properly addressed, and usually they were using ArcSys as the second tell to basically let us get the information that we needed about the game. A lot of the stuff on their Twitter was basically in Korean, and the only way to get the information in English was either by ArcSys or in their community posts by YouTube. And you know, a lot of people don't just randomly go through the community post section on a YouTube page, or sometimes you may miss it because it's just not there. You know, the marketing for this game was very different compared to when you think of a game like Guilty Gear Strive, right, where there's big marketings as far as like how they do things. You know, they got the hashtags like everywhere that they try to do things. They got the VTubers involved in for the game for the beta and stuff, you know. And this game probably had like a very smaller budget, so they probably couldn't afford some of the things, but some of the stuff, you know, you could definitely do. Like, there's been like multiple sales for this game that have happened that I don't really see them talk about that much. I know ArcSys has done. There's actually a trial for the game on PlayStation Plus
get stuff out the door.
You can have, I think it's 2 hours. Is it 2 hours, chat? You could do like 2 hours for the game, and nobody really, like, they don't really talk about that like that. Like, there's just a lot of things that they really didn't promote.
I didn't know that either.
That could have helped either sales wise or retention wise and stuff like that. That just was not there. Now, this next thing I gotta put in here, because I was gaslighted for saying this before, but of course it comes back to pass, right? So the lack of content in this game, man, I feel like it's definitely a contributing factor. The lack of content, and we're gonna talk about the character balancing in just a second. But the lack of content, this game doesn't have that much stuff inside of it, man. It's just the single player mode. You have like a time trial, like trial mode or something like that. Is it time trial or like survival mode? And then there is just online, right? So there's really not much there. The single player mode is just like the stories. If you don't care about the stories, you sort of just did one just to unlock Lost Warrior, and that was pretty much it. So there's really not much there. I always stress, and like I said, I made a video about this talking about why certain fighting games do not do well. And I was talking about how these fighting games need to have better packages when it comes to the content in it. You look like a game like Street Fighter 5. That is a good package. Look at what you're getting for Street Fighter 5 right now. You're going to be able to play old Street Fighter type games like Street Fighter 2 and stuff like that. They got game modes inside of the game mode. So like they have like the danger modes or whatever. I forget exactly what they're called, where like, you know, there's bulls running at you and stuff like that. Like these little mini game modes inside of the actual game. You got the customization and the whole lobby and communication system with the lobby stuff and all that. Like,
but that's only after Street Fighter 5, because he's talking about Street Fighter 6. That's only after Street Fighter 5 screwed up so royally that they learned their lesson. It's just that other companies don't be watching other companies to see what's going on and see what people are doing. They just don't. They just choose to not. I don't know why.
Experience that we haven't even got to like visually or actually get to play ourselves yet. So, you know, you got that along with everything else that's possibly coming to the game as well. There's just a lot there for the complete full package of the game. Now, of course, DNF Duel was only $50 when it came out, but still for the package that you're getting, the game really wasn't worth the price point, man. It really was not worth it. And of course, there was some regional price things as well. People were talking about where the game was like much higher in other places around the world, but the game has multiple sales now, so probably that's not really going to be like the contributing factor now. But I guess if you weren't going to play the game then and you heard the bad word of mouth back then you're probably not going to play the game now, right? So if the word of mouth was good back then and then the sales happened, then probably things would be different, but it definitely wasn't. And talking about the character balancing for DNF Duel, obviously this game was developed to be a high character power level game, and the characters are absolutely nuts in the game as far as the things they could do. But of course, when this game first came out, there were definitely some characters that were slightly above the rest. We're talking about Swiftmaster, we're talking about Hitman, and like, you know, the crazy things they was able to do. Striker as well with the infinite stuff like that.
Everybody had wild shit that they can do. Their stuff just came out first. There were people coming up with touch of deaths for like every character. Oh, I don't know about for every character, but there was coming out for characters that we didn't see like initially. It was like, oh, new touch of death. New touch of death for this character. And it's like, okay. New touch of death for this other character. And it's like, guard break for this guard break setup. And it's like, dude, every character got some wild shit. Every character. Some characters were just weaker, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. Because like you have like Grappler, where Grappler is a strong character. But his weakness is distance. It's hard for him to get in. It's hard. So, but once he in your ass. And he gonna stay there. As long as he's a good grappler. If he in your ass and he gonna stay there. Like, it's actually ridiculous. So then Launcher. Launcher is a pain in the ass to fight against. A pain in the ass. You have to know the matchup. Like, you have to know it. You have to know where you can roll, know what you can jump over, know the properties of her projectiles, all that kind of stuff. Know what her setups are, know when you just gotta know a lot. Because if you get hit, you just be getting hit with stuff. Then they be juggling you on top of projectiles. It's nuts. But they get they win and they deserve it. But it's hard. It's hard for them to win. It takes a lot for a Launcher to win because they gotta hit you so many times. Right? They gotta hit you a bunch of times. They set you up and then hit you again. Grappler, he gotta get in. If you don't let him get in, he ain't doing nothing. You can't let him get in. If you let him get in, he gonna fuck you up. If you don't get in on Launcher, she gonna fuck you up. They got the opposite problem. Launcher and Grappler, the opposite problem. Launcher don't need to get in. She don't want to get in. She wants you away. And Grappler, he wants you in. He don't want you away. Then Lost Warrior, he definitely got some gimmicks, some touch of death gimmicks. If you get hit, you just gonna get fucked up. But like, he's a bad character, like frame data wise. But how do you balance those three characters? how do you make it so that Launcher is not so easy for her to keep you away from her to the point where you just can't ever get in, or you can't exploit any of her weaknesses to get close to her so that you can like do something, like mix her up and like beat her. And then how do you do it for Grappler so that it's not so like super easy for him to get in, because once he's in and he gonna be there. And if you can't keep him out, then like you lose. Like how do you balance that? They're low tier, but they're low tier. Like, there's always going to be some low tier characters. Everybody not going to be the best of the best. You're going to have good ass characters. You're going to have mid tier characters. and you're gonna have some low tier characters. They just happen to be the low tiers. They not that good. Should they be that good? No. Do they need to be mid tier? No. If they're low tier, you know they low tier, and you choose to play them, that's your business. It's your business.
The block string infinite, but they did tone some of that stuff down, but probably a little too late, right? People got tired of seeing these characters, and they were just very, very strong, and they weren't that difficult to use. Now, this game is definitely on one of the more easier sides to play. There's definitely stuff people are still figuring out about the game, but at the level at the current time, those strategies that people were using were strong enough.
I might just play some more DNF Duel because
the game really quickly.
I try to get
like,
back in the stride, and I just can't bring myself to get back in the stride.
Combat them, but it was difficult to actually get those strategies going and to try to implement them inside your game plan. Like some of these characters just didn't have a good time doing it. You look at characters like Lost Warrior or Launcher or Grappler versus some of these characters when they were at their peak. It was a hard time for some of these characters, man. And you know, even though some of these characters were definitely okay in their own regard, like Berserker and say like Kunoichi versus the top 3 that you've seen all the time, it was just hard to get around these. Some of them have some decent matchups and stuff like that, but it was just, you know, you're gonna fight a gauntlet of these characters because of how easy this game is to play compared to like some other games. And honestly, I think
no. You're not gonna face a gauntlet of these characters because of how easy it is to play the game. You're gonna face a gauntlet of the characters because they're good characters and they're not that many characters. If somebody wants to play a good character, they're gonna play a good character. It doesn't matter what the game is, right? It doesn't matter what the game is. It could be any game. You're gonna face a gauntlet of the best characters in any game. Once you get past a certain like rank, I would assume you're probably gonna face a lot of similar characters, especially in a game that doesn't have a large character roster, right? Like you're regardless of what it is, it's like regardless of what game it is, you're gonna play against you're gonna play against the best characters, especially if you're playing in tournament. If you're a tournament player, you're still gonna be playing against the best characters. Most people are going to pick the best characters to play in tournament. And then when you get to the point where you're good enough to get to top 8 or top 16 or even top 32, you're probably going to be playing a lot of the same characters because they're good characters. Not because the game is easy to play, not because it's easy to pick up. It doesn't matter how easy the game is to pick up. If you're a better player, you're a better player, period. Like you may lose to somebody who's not as good as you, right? You may lose to somebody who's not as good as you sometimes, but that's just the nature of fighting games. What a conversation to join into. I've been sitting here just talking about like just watching videos and talking about stuff for probably about like 2 or 3 hours now. My friend was here earlier. And I've just been like going on because I'm probably gonna like make videos of this stuff later. So I'm just like talking about stuff about like this is the real reason why DNF Duel had a rapid decline in players. And I was just talking about that because like, you know, I played DNF Duel and I think about
left a
playing
sour
some
taste in people's mouth was the fact that this patch that we got, the initial patch, was hinted at to be like some big revolution changing patch for the game, and basically it just touched like 3 characters, right? It
played so many melee to matches today. It was all Fox Falco. That's what I'm saying. Like, and people gonna play the good characters, and the older the game gets, it's like, well, I might as well play top tier. Like, I don't know how good is Marth these days. It was like Fox Falco, Marth. What is the other top tier? Is there any other top tier, or is it just Fox Falco and Marth?
It was just like some slap on the wrist for 2 of them, Hitman and Striker, and you know Swiftmaster got
Striker, Rising Fist, reduce guard stun after second strike. Like, what does that do? Like, I don't know. Like, what is that supposed to fix? Like, yeah, these are stupid fixes. It looks like they just changed this just to say that they changed something. Reduce the time unable to detect during charge effect version. Build drill. Reduce guard stun after final strike. Reduce guard pushback after final strike. I think that's his awakening move. I think. Oh, maybe drill drill is fine. I don't know what move that is. I don't know what move that is actually. Swift Master.
Got touched actually a little bit, but there was no like real big changes. People thought this was going to be a patch that was going to shake the meta of the game for real. Like, you know, there's going to be some launcher buffs, some Vanguard buffs, some Lost Warrior buffs, and like tone down some of these other characters to make the game try to be as evenly as possible. You know, as all balances try to do at the very least. That was not the case, man. So a lot of people were disappointed, and basically their characters were the same. People were hoping for some new things. Because when you talk about patches, people, even though people want to see some,
even though Vanguard, everybody got buff, Vanguard got some stuff, which is great. Marth Puff. I was thinking Puff, but I was like maybe only Puff because of Hungry Box. But I was like I don't know. Peach, true. Captain Falcon, Yoshi, and Pikachu are close. Pikachu was because of that one dude, right? Like there's that one dude that plays Pikachu in Melee, right? Forget what his name is. And then there's like this Japanese Yoshi player I remember. I think he was like a red Yoshi or something like that. That was the only Yoshi I ever remember seeing in Melee at like when I went to Apex that one time. That was hype though, seeing a Yoshi played in Melee. Fox and Falco have by far the most options in speed and combos, so that's why they're the most popular. Oh yeah, definitely.
Just get nerfed. They also want new tools to discover with their characters. You know, a lot of people felt like because this game pretty simple that it was pretty much figured out, even though like I said, people do find a lot of things with some of these characters a lot more. Like I've been seeing a lot more like, you know, berserker stuff, and there's like a lot more like, you know, striker optimizations and stuff I've been seeing going around, and like a few other characters and stuff like that.
The DNF Duel is the bones of a game. Like it's not a whole lot there. It's like characters, stages, fight. Like that's pretty much what DNF Duel is.
Setups and stuff. So there is other things that people obviously are going to find over time, but for the majority of the part, these other characters, regardless of the tech, were still in the placings that they were. I think that about cover everything, right, chat? I think we talked about like mainly the most biggest points that was there. Hopefully this is different now. Hopefully we now start to get this communication. If you don't know, he actually created a separate Twitter account that is dedicated to the English audience now, so we're finally being spoken to. You know, they've been asking for community feedback and stuff, and I think that's how the Twitter even got started. So they are trying to basically have this communication with us, with the other audiences besides the Korean audiences. They are trying to be more transparent with how the development of this game is going, and hopefully we just have more communication with the developers, and hopefully the marketing for this game gets better over time. And hopefully, like I said, we may not get much more players.
They just need to give the game away for free for PlayStation Plus. Get the game in the Game Pass and have a huge Steam sale.
As when stuff happens
and post it everywhere.
Come back to the game, we can retain those players for much longer. That's all we can hope for at this point, and hopefully that is enough to keep this game going for a decent amount of time. I mean, it is an Arc Revo game. There is $100,000 on the lawn, and not that many people are playing it, which is crazy to me to think about. But hopefully this gets more people on the game, man, and hopefully we just see a better future for DNF. But anyway,
$100,000 on the line, and there's only 92 people. How many people are playing this game right now? Because that was when he checked it. Oh, there's less people online now playing the game. There's 54 people in the last 24 hours on Steam playing DNF Duel, with $100,000 on the line for the tournament. I mean, granted, these 54 people will probably be the 54 people that are playing in the tournament. But like, damn, yo. 54 people in the last 24 hours, and the game's not crossplay. Remember that. The game's not crossplay. The game is not crossplay, so that means that these 54 people are just playing each other on PC. Maybe there are more players on PlayStation, but the fact that there are 54 people playing on PC these are only they probably run into each other all the time. They probably know each other. They probably are all in the Discord together. Like it's ridiculous. It's just sad, man.
Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, man, let me know down in the comments below how you guys feel about the early decline of DNF Duel. What do you think was the biggest contributing factor to that? I want to hear what your guys' opinions are down in the comments below.
Let me give you a like. I'll give you a like.